We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.
Can you hear it?
And
You guys,
guess who's back?
it's been a long time,
It's been a long time coming,
but we're here.
but we're back.
We're alive.
And we're Rona free.
But we still live in a filthy state of...
What is a pandemic?
Yeah.
Filthy state of a pandemic. Knee deep in this shit.
Oh, man.
Still running.
I think, like, by this time, it's, like, neck deep in shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
We were like knee deep, then waist deep. At this point, we're neck deep in
We're
it.
neck deep.
Just like this.
Any more, and...
Breathing through a straw soon.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, welcome back.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Terrible Reception Radio Show.
Yes.
We missed you guys so
Very
much.
much so. Very much so.
Yes. You may have seen some changes. Well, actually, just one change that I can think of. No headphones today.
No headphones.
So we are trying no headphones today. So apologies if we're being a little loud
No.
or too low.
It'd be good. It'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the Terrible Reception Radio Show. I believe this is we're going to call this episode 35, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Am I clipping over there?
You might be clipping a little bit. You can bring it back a little bit. Give yourself some space.
How's this? Mic check.
That's way better.
Okay, cool. That's a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this is episode, I believe, 35.
35 of the Terrible Reception podcast.
Terrible Reception Radio Show.
Yes.
I believe we're still on power over
I don't know.
98.5.
I probably just fucked that all up.
Let's see. We're super rusty with this, so if you haven't yet, make sure you go to the YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on that bell notification so you get a notification every time we drop a new episode. We are actually working on a music video currently, so you're gonna get a notification for that very, very soon.
Yes.
Spotify.
Yes.
Make sure you follow us on Spotify, and then tell a friend to follow us on Spotify, and also on Apple Podcasts. If Apple Podcasts is your thing, you're an iPhone person, and Apple is the thing you want to do, and the apple you want to eat, then go to Apple Podcasts, find the Terrible Reception podcast on there, leave a review, leave a rating, leave an honest rating. We'd prefer a 5, but if you think we're shit, just leave us a 1.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2, just to make us look a little better. But
And maybe we can work harder towards your number 5.
Exactly. So if you give us a 1, actually, leave a review on there and tell us why you believe it's a 1 and where we can improve.
Oh.
If it's a 5, just leave us an eggplant emoji.
And don't hate for no reason. Like, if you were a little more handsome, then this would work for me. Or if there's something that we can't physically change, I mean, it's 2020. We could get plastic surgery.
Yeah,
But
that typically doesn't work.
no.
At least from what I've seen.
Maybe I'll just come out looking like a Kardashian.
Maybe full lips.
Right. Look at this jet black straight hair I have.
So, we've been gone for a minute, because there's been a crisis going on. Mental health crisis, a health crisis, crisis in general. And, we tried the quarantine specials. Kind of worked out, kind of didn't. We tried some new software that wasn't agreeing with me, and I got frustrated, so I stopped.
We had a lot of great interviews, but unfortunately the audio couldn't be saved at the moment.
Yeah, so it sucked, but hopefully we could get them back on the show somehow. We'll figure it out. But what else? And we want to do something new today. Just an idea that I had in the last few weeks. I just figured out names for them today, actually. We want to organize the show a little better. So we're going to break it down into little sections. That way we're not rambling about nothing like we usually do. But, just to structure the podcast a little better. So people that are new to the show can easily digest it. And don't see it as us just talking shit.
No.
Aimlessly. So I guess we could start off with the first part of the show. I want to call it the signal check.
Signal check.
Signal check. Signal check. Kind of just playing off the Terrible Reception show name. So the signal check section of the show is basically us just checking in with each other, mental health wise, or even physical health wise.
If you have dark circles under your eyes,
yeah,
we're questioning this.
Exactly. So stuff like that. And we'll check in with each other, see how our week went. And anyway, mostly mental health wise, we'll check in with each other every week, see how things are going, what we can do better. And yeah, so cool. That's signal check. So we can get started. How was your week, sir?
My week was pretty calm, pretty cool. Ever since quarantine, I've had a lot of time to reflect. I've had a lot of good breaks from being overly worked, I would say. Mm-hmm. So I had, I'm coming more in tune with my, hunger for creating art again. I was a little tapped out. I would tell Jay a lot that, I was like burnt out, that I just wasn't thinking of ideas as clearly. Mm-hmm. And now they're flowing. Yeah. Like, we even had a discussion yesterday. We're putting together the video for Fallen, mm-hmm. our Benatton single. I know it's a couple singles back, but, mm-hmm. The streets want a Fallen video. Yep. So we're going to give them a nice Fallen video, and ideas were just mm-hmm. flowing so nicely yesterday. I would say from a physical standpoint, for some reason, I've had like a lot of issues. Like I bought a new pillow. I have like sciatic nerve pain. That's one thing I try to stretch it out as much as I can, but I went to a local chiropractor today mm-hmm. on Church Street. I live in Montclair. Great chiropractor for people that don't have insurance like myself. He has like a special health benefits program where you put down a certain amount of money. Like today, my thing was like $90, and every time I go back, it's only $35 to $45.
Nice.
And yeah, like he did like electrotherapy on my back. Ooh, so that took away most of the pain, which was nice. And my sciatica, he cracked my neck, mm-hmm. which he said it was way overdue. Mm-hmm. And that felt great. I can actually turn. It's mm-hmm. nice. And today all around was a pretty good day. I've just been enjoying life. I've rid myself of a lot of negativity in my life. Mm-hmm. I had, I took myself out of a 6-year relationship. It was tough.
Okay. We're diving deep into this.
We're diving deep. We're talking mental health. So okay. I don't want to, I don't
disclose what you would like to.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is like, sometimes people end up in, I think I heard Dion Cole say the same thing at one of his comedy sessions.
Did he say it like this?
He said like this.
Dion Cole.
Dion Cole. But Dion Cole's a really cool dude, and he had it seemed like it took like a more serious turn during his comedy segment on Netflix. And he said, sometimes you meet a person at a certain point in your life, and sometimes people marry into that. So relationships, even if you don't put a ring on it, sometimes you're really dedicated and devoted to somebody, but you reach different levels within your life. So I don't personally say the person is a bad person or anything like that, but we were vibrating on different levels. And I think when you can accept your abundance as an individual, and when you have a different vision and foresight for what you need or want to have within your life, within a relationship, you redo your checklist. Mm-hmm. It's like your license. You renew it every, couple of years, and that's the way it should be. And I think in everybody's life, you got to see where you're at. Mm-hmm. Same thing with business or anything else. And for me, it was a healthy decision. So, a lot of big changes in 2020, a lot of losses, a lot of gains, mm-hmm. but altogether, it's always self-improvement. So that's where I'm at. And yourself?
Okay. Wow. I've been good. I've been enjoying, like you said, the much needed, I guess, time off. Yeah. I wouldn't say time off because we've still been doing little things here and there. And I've been doing little things here and there, but it's good to have a breather. Yes. Sometimes I kind of just sit at home and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing today? And it's just like, it feels weird that I have to force myself to do nothing.
Okay.
So there's like days where I'm like always on the run. I have one thing to the minute. I'm always planned with something. you know, at this time I have to be here. At this time I have to be
there. Is that
there.
because it has to happen, or are you like planning your day out?
Because that's how I plan my day out. Because it has to. Not that it has to, but it's
your form of sanity at organization.
No, not really. It's mostly because
it's a planned insanity.
Bills have to be paid.
Gotcha.
That's why. So yeah, so it feels weird. Like, for example, today, like we were supposed to meet, right?
Yes.
So I did, you know, a couple sessions for work earlier in the day. I did a total of maybe like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Okay.
And I'm like sitting around like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, am I watching a Netflix movie? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something at all times of the day.
I feel like a lot of people do feel like that. And that's like something that a lot of people had time to reflect because actually the busyness could be a distraction. Do you agree?
Absolutely. So, you know, us as creatives always feel like we're supposed to be always putting something out or creating something. And, you know, when we're sharing the laptop, when I don't have the laptop on me, when I do have it on me, I feel like I'm always doing something. And when I don't have it on me, it's like an excuse to not work.
Gotcha.
And it's weird. And I had to like reprogram my brain to say it's okay to do nothing.
It's literally divisive.
Yeah, literally. So it's okay to do nothing. I'm going to tell that to everybody. If you're good, if your mental health is right, it's okay to sit around and watch a movie. If you're constantly working, if you were constantly working before all this stuff happened, it's okay to take a step back, take a breather. And for those people that weren't doing that before, I think you should get off your ass and maybe work out a little bit.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I think the people that stop smoking, sometimes their body reflects on what's really sick. And then you could take it from there. You know, it's the same thing in our lives. Sometimes if you do take time to yourself, you'll see what other things might be bugging you in your life, you know? Because if you have time to like positively recharge in one area, you're going to see what's low level, you know, on another. So I think this whole worldwide pandemic situation just really escalated to even other things, you know, like we can see people doing more protests, people fighting for their rights. And I think it's something that, you know, we've all like been too lazy to clean out the closet for a long time. So I'd love to see the change, little or big, you know.
Literally, because I spent some time cleaning out my room. Actually, the first couple weeks into this thing, I readjusted my room, which was a long time coming. But
nice. Is it all like literally like you have
I just
things at different places?
Things around, yeah.
Nice.
Which is a lot better because I get more sunlight in the room.
Beautiful.
More breeze in the room.
Nice.
So it feels better and more walking space in the room. So I have a really tiny room. So,
yeah. But when you learn how to make room out of a small space, anything is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was living like that for quite some time. Thank you, Rona. Let me see. I guess, you know, you just mentioned the protesting, right? I want to give a shout out to a page I just started following on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to everybody.
Okay.
And if I'm not too lazy, I'll put it like here somewhere in the video.
Okay.
It's called, I'll tell you right now, Karen's Going Wild.
Oh, no.
Can you tell what that page is about?
I could definitely know what that page is about.
So it's a page literally dedicated to psychopathic, racist white people doing wild, psychopathic, racist shit. And it's at this point, I feel like I can't do anything but laugh at these people because they look so ridiculous.
It's the Megatron of a KKK.
Literally. It's like, you can sit there and be angry at these people, but it's like their ignorance is so crazy and so out there that you just kind of like, all you can do is laugh at these people and feel bad for them. It's like, where is all this anger coming from?
How do you feel
Jesus
like on the
Christ.
level of like, there's pure ignorance in the sense that there's pure in the sense like maybe somebody was raised like that. There's chosen ignorance. Who do you feel that you give the time and day to sit down and have the discussion to? Because I've noticed, like, you know, there's a couple of people that I grew up with or have associated with through school or work. And a lot of them, you know, I was kind of, you know, a little disappointed or a little discouraged with some of the posts they made, whether it was blatant all lives matter type of vibe or using the religion to, justify
Mask
what's
the
going on,
racism.
mask the racism, or, people saying that, we should care more for the cops than anybody. There's a lot of those things. Like, where do you fall where you say, okay, is this person worth taking time to educate them, open their eyes, or let it be?
It depends how close you are to that person.
Mm-hmm.
I had a situation with a friend that listens to the podcast, so you will know who I'm talking about. But we were having a discussion about like the riots and all this stuff, and how, not that we're justifying the riots, but we're trying to justify the emotions behind the riots. And I'm not saying the looting. The looting is just people outside of the protesters taking advantage of a situation and taking away from the main goal of
There's
the
three
protest.
sides to it, because there's protesting, there's rioting,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's blatant killings and looting.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've had several conversations with people about the looting part, and I've had to explain to them, like, listen, these aren't necessarily the protesters that are doing this. These are people, again, taking advantage of a situation,
Mhm.
and those people are not associated protesting whatsoever.
Mhm.
So, I played a video that I've been watching quite a bit, that I promote quite a bit, is Andrew Schultz, the comedian. He's been making these really good videos lately where he makes a sketch about current events, and he touched on the differences between rioters, protesting, and the reasons behind everything and stuff like that. And when I played that video for him, he was like, well, when you put it that way, I guess I understand. So, with somebody like that, that I'm really close to, I would love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I know we can come to a common ground.
Okay.
If it's somebody I'm friends with on Facebook, that I went to high school with 15 years ago, not to date myself, but I wouldn't waste my time.
Okay.
Like, I'll throw it out there like, damn dude, is this how you really feel? And that's it. But then you get caught up in a conversation that you probably don't want to put energy towards, you know what I mean?
It's funny,
like,
I don't know how to put this. When we did the Ice-T video,
yeah,
you understand what Ice-T's rock band stands for.
yeah,
Right? There's a gentleman there that we came across that felt very differently about the Black Lives Matter movement. It was more for blue lives. But at the same time, this gentleman gets gigs from people of color, black people, Hispanic people, like, hire him.
Who is this?
I'm not saying, but
Can you tell me off air?
yes, I will tell you off air. But this gentleman literally makes money off of people that he knows, whether they're black, Hispanic, but he wasn't standing up or defending for anybody, rather than saying, basically, blue lives matter, all lives matter, let's cut the shit. So that, to me, blows my mind, where we can clearly see, there's a lot of, again, people are going to pull statistics, which are short. There's a lot of white people that get killed by cops. There's a lot of, other minorities that get killed by cops. But right now, the focus, as we know, is the black community and the injustice and the prejudgment, the prejudice against the black community. So, and that goes for everybody within the black community, male, female, LGBTQ, it's the whole thing. But what surprised me is just how a lot of people, and it's tough too when I see a lot of white families that they know that their boyfriend, their hubby, their wife, their girlfriend is a police officer, and it's a very, even though they might be a great police officer, they have to realize that a lot of people within their own system are messing up for people like them.
Yep. And see, that's the thing. I have a few friends that are police officers, and we have conversations. There was one time, a boy Jeff, he's a police officer in Newark, and we all know how Newark gets. So, we talk a lot about like, you know, keto. He comments a lot of my posts and stuff like that. And there was one day he commented on one of my posts, and I literally was like, listen, man, be safe out there. And that's pretty much it. He was like, thank you. You know, it was actually the post that I made. I was like, you know, I forget verbatim, but it was something along the lines of, you know, cops like this asshole fuck it up for like the rest of the good police officers and give all police officers a bad name, right? So he commented on that, and then I commented back like, dude, just be safe out there. You know, we care about you and stuff like that. So
even being in Montclair, New Jersey, I saw this great cop. You were there, I think you witnessed it, where there was a great cop protecting the Black Lives Matter protesters. One guy came out of the crowd and just seemed like he was there just to agitate him. He said, you being a cop by default makes you a bad person. How could you be a cop? And the cop's just trying to justify himself. The thing is, he's not even a white cop. You can tell that he's mixed. And he said, hey, like, if you want to have a sit down and talk with it, like, maybe I can change your mind about this. Like, you know, I have respect for you. I don't even know you. And the other guy's like, go fuck yourself. So it's like some people are just willing to agitate and not have this dialogue, no matter what the context. And I think the beauty that should always be there is to be willing and be open to the conversation.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people, you know, with all the tensions going crazy lately, tensions have been really thick.
Oh yeah.
You know, so even if you're on one or the other side, it's tough to jump into the middle. And I found myself a couple days like, oh, fuck everybody, fuck this, fuck that, you know, but it's tough to do that in a situation like this. That's so tense and so crazy. But, you know, there are good people out there, but I don't want to make that the main focus, you know, because then it loses the attention on, you know, the main goal of everything that's going on. So, you know, there's been a lot of shit going on since we sat down here and recorded something like this. So we don't want to get too much into something,
but we could be here all day.
We could be here all day. Yeah. You know, we talk about it off air quite a bit. But
it's important to be an ally. I think that's where we should kind of wrap it on that, you know, fight for the right cause.
Yeah.
You know, even if you might not think or you don't know what the right cause is at the time, just use your gut instinct as a human being. You know, when you feel something's right, you can't deny that in your gut. So try to be an ally to your fellow brother, sister, anybody.
And for all those all lives matter people, if you're a straight up racist, just say it. It's better for us, you know. And if you are an all lives matter person that doesn't understand the concept of it, please just YouTube it. There's cartoons, there's lectures, there's seminars, there's people explaining it, there's TikTok videos explaining it to like where my 7-year-old nephew can understand this shit, what Black Lives Matter actually stands for. It's like I saw a video the other day of some girl really like acting out this video where it's like there's this house on fire and there's this house that's completely fine, and the lady was like, oh my god, my house is on fire, and she goes, but my house matters too. And she's like, yeah, it does, but mine is on fire right now.
It is a great example, and I had to use it with a couple people. So like I said, let humanity, let peacefulness, let positivity reign at the end of the day, and I think that's where everybody will find a common ground. You know what I'm saying?
Most people will.
Most people.
Can't say all.
Not all.
But on a positive note, not that this conversation isn't positive, but
Jay won the lottery.
No, I wish I did. You'd see me on an island right now if that were the case.
Not Jeffrey Epstein's, please.
No, definitely not. Not Pedo Island. We could talk about that too, but I read an article called "The Race-Related Things That Have Changed Since Protests Began Around George Floyd's Death."
Okay.
So this has been going on for about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This whole thing. I would say about between 20 to 25 days, depending on when you're listening to this. But it's on about 3 to 4 weeks is all this craziness has been going on. And somebody wrote an article about all these things that have been going on since the protests have been going on. So one of them is in the police departments, there's been general reform, which the Minneapolis police has banned the use of chokeholds and so has Washington, D.C., Chicago, Denver, amongst other locales.
Okay.
The charges have been upgraded to the officers or ex-officers that were involved in the blatant murder of this young man, George Floyd.
Okay.
Let me see. So all 4 guys have been arrested. The main dude, Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is, whatever, that asshole that had his knee on the dude's neck, on George Floyd's neck,
which a lot of people thought it was the guy from Cash Cab.
Really?
That was a conspiracy. I'm like, a lot of people actually came to me in seriousness.
Hold up.
I was like,
wait a minute, hold on. There was a conspiracy today that I saw on one of the social medias. I forget, I get lost sometimes, but there's a guy that had a side-by-side photo of the guy in the video and the mugshot and how different they look.
A lot of actors.
Look into that.
Okay.
Not saying that he's not the right person, but it looked a little different.
He might be on another island.
He's on Pedo Island with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, man.
Hashtag.
I wish it was right next to the island Tupac decided to leave to.
Oh, man.
No, that's another.
No.
Rest in peace,
leave Tupac out of this. Happy belated to Tupac.
Yes.
Let's see. New Jersey Attorney General announced this month that the state will update its use of force rules, which hasn't been updated in 20 years. The Dallas Police Department adopted a duty to intervene rule requiring fellow officers to intervene if someone is using excessive force. That's so crazy to me that there needs to be a rule adopted for something like that to happen. And calls for reduced funding. You know, a lot of these police departments I just found out today that corporations provide funding for police departments as well. Yeah. So on top of the funding that taxes and all that shit, all the government money funding or whatever it's just called, all the funding that we get from taxes from, I guess, to the local departments or the city departments, whatever. On top of that, corporations also, I guess, donate money to them, for lack of a better word. So there's been a call for reduced funding. And that's where the term defund the police comes from. And I was doing research on that because obviously, you know, there has to be some kind of order in the sense where there has to be law enforcement that can respond to certain crimes.
Sometimes you got to burn it down to rebuild it.
Exactly. So something like that. There's people that are calling for that, where you like burn it down to ashes and start from scratch. And there's other people that are calling to reallocate some of the funding that the police departments get to other services like mental health services, schools, you know, just any community-based programs that can educate the community or help the community more.
People have been like, I don't know, I don't know if it's a conspiracy or people really haven't looked into it, but they said, you know, there's other people that are backing, or there's bigger billionaires that back the Black Lives Matter movement. And they said a lot of people said there was like, you know, a lot of gray area or blurred lines where they felt like a lot of Black Lives Matter movement, they don't know where the money's going or how it's being spent, if it's a democratic type of funding thing. So Democrats can, you know, take the money and fund their, you know, campaigns through Black Lives so they can get somebody in the Democratic office versus the Republican because of this and that. You know, a couple celebrities brought it up. I noticed that. So like, it's really tough because they said, you know, Sean King, he has an IG. He basically updates a lot of people on the Black Lives Matter movement. He has the Grassroots Law charity fund, which is not associated with Black Lives Matter, but I think it's associated in the sense that it does fund it as well once they get money. But a lot of people weren't clear to where any of this money is going or who's the head of the Black Lives Matter.
That's what I heard about his criticism, Sean King, because apparently he accepts donations, but nobody knows where his money goes to. And there's actually a link that we posted on the Benatton page. I think I have it on my personal page as well, where there's a link to different GoFundMes for different services. There's one for like the protesters that are getting arrested, so they have a fund set up for people, you know, to make bail. There's one for the George Floyd family. There's one for the Breonna Taylor is her name. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
I think you're right.
They're calling for that for her family. Yeah, it is Breonna Taylor. And I'm hoping, and you know, with different donations, obviously, you know, even with like, what do they call that? When a disaster happens, FEMA and all that
disaster relief funds.
Yeah, disaster relief funds. You're donating money in hopes that it gets to where it needs to go. You know, but this link seems legit. I mean, everybody's using it, so yeah, I hope so. But if you're looking to get some kind of
direct connect,
some resources, or you're sitting there like, okay, so I did something on social media, I posted my little black box, what do I do next? Just go to our page and go to the link, and it's very well established. So just go on there. There's a lot of information on there, lots of links that you can go to, very easy to navigate as well. So
I noticed there's like with the Black Lives Matter movement or social media in general, the more that you're getting the word out, whether it's updated news, real news, things that are happening, updating people on where the protests are happening, what's happening to the people within the protest, why we're protesting. I think information about anything, whether it's COVID or whatever, I think people are really seeking for the truth. And I think it's our job now as social mediators to, you know, be our network of information.
Is that what you would call them? Call us social mediators?
Social mediators?
Social media.
I don't know.
Mediates?
But we have a responsibility now. I don't think it's always just for fun and for play and for selfishness. I think it's more like, you know, instead of flipping on the channel sometimes, like if I know something is happening in my town, say it was Clifton protests and things were getting out of hand, or even here in Montclair, we're seeing like, you know, a peaceful movement. The streets are going in. All we can do is document. I think that's the beauty of this tool right now.
Yeah, man. I've been finding a pretty good balance between everything. I try to post, you know, things so people won't forget, because I feel like there's something different, maybe because I'm more involved this time around, that I'm noticing more and more people are still posting.
I was proud of your stand up for justice. You know, like I've seen like you've been very informative on your social media, and I'm, you know, I'm always proud of the stances that we take, even if they might, you know.
I'm glad we're on the same page with this one, because it would have been weird on the Benatton page if we were on different sides with this.
Hey, listen.
So, yeah, we've been even using the Benatton page for it, because, you know, we have a bunch of followers on there, hoping that, you know, we actually lost a ton of followers, which, whatever, good riddance to you guys since we started posting them. So, you know, we've been rebuilding that, trying to find a better following.
Yeah, it's about 3,000-4,000 lost.
No, a little less than that.
A little less than that?
Yeah, it was maybe 100 to 150, something like that.
I noticed on one eye, too.
Yeah.
One side showed, you know.
It is what it is.
It's cool.
Even people on the righteous side have unfollowed me as well. Because I posted something that, I think I told you, right? That I posted something that I thought was funny with the Cuomo brothers.
Yes.
And this person was like, oh, but he has time to do this and be funny, but the police are beating people up. And I'm like, listen, what do you want me to say to that? And I got an unfollow, which is fine. It is what it is. If you don't want to sit there,
to the conversation.
Yeah, you don't want to sit there and have a conversation. You know, if you think my posts are ignorant, then sit there and tell me why they're ignorant, and I'll tell you why I think otherwise. Because I think I've made pretty good decisions as to what I post on my social media. I've just about to hit the send button on a lot of things that I don't do anymore.
Yeah. I will, like, for me, I know I have a lot of black friends that I do respect and I love equally, and they were even teaching me things, you know, from their perspective. I know that I thought maybe it was a responsibility on my end, which I found out it wasn't, to post pictures from slavery times of black people being hung. And they said already, one, that's very triggering to us. And secondly, unfortunately, this has become an image that is stapled to us for life, and you don't have to post that part of it to build awareness. And they said if you could take it down, we appreciate it. And for me, it was like no questions asked. I was like, for me, it's a learning process. Sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, but then it could work in the opposite, and
you can kind of get lost in the sauce sometimes. That's all it is.
Yeah. So I feel like you have to fail to be successful, and never take it to the ego. If I from there on say, oh fuck you guys, you don't see me helping you with everything else, it's like that's where I can say as a white male, this is where you exceed your white privilege, and you got to take the L. Yeah. You got to take the L, and you got to expand your mind and your knowledge on how to approach things.
I don't even think it's an L, to be honest.
No, it's not an L. I'm just saying, like, if you let your ego, take the forefront,
Yeah. And that person that unfollowed me did not do that. So, good riddance. Damn, I had an idea about...
What's your next segment that you break down?
What's the wave? I guess this all falls under the what's the wave. So the second section that we wanted to, second segment of the show that we wanted to touch on is called What's the Wave? So it's basically anything that's going on currently with, current events, anything that's going on with us currently, what we're working on, what we have been working on, just trying to give you guys an update on what's going on in our lives outside of the mental health check. So this will be mostly on, shoots that we've been doing, music that we're working on, music videos that we're working on. What did I say? Photo shoots already? Photo shoots, music, videos. Any new equipment that we've picked up that we're trying, anything along those lines that you feel would fit in the current event type thing with us or outside of us. So
we basically wrap it up with the gallery. We've kept the gallery because gallery really helps to expand, whether it's local network of artists or new artists on the scene in the major labels. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
that sounds like a huge dog.
It's a big dog.
Holy shit.
It's a big chocolate lab.
Oh my god. Is that the one that I saw down the street?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Mr. Pumpernickel. No, I'm kidding. I just came up with the name because I forgot it. But that's a great one, right? Mr. Pumpernickel?
I think it was something along those lines.
Something like that.
No, well, I like Pumpernickel. Anyway, so the gallery, we've had it a few times. We want to be a little more consistent with it, where we highlight an artist of any kind, in any form, anything creative we want to highlight on that last section of the show before we send things off to the next one. But like I said, we've touched upon it a few times before. I know the people that we've shouted out definitely appreciate it, and we know what it's like to have our art pushed to a new audience, so we want to give that platform to others.
Yes.
Either on the same boat as us, even if they're bigger than us, smaller than us, on the same level as us. We just want to show love to people that are being creative.
Yes.
In any way, whatever you see fit.
Definitely. There's if I can mention two off the jump, I think
we're gonna go right into it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because we're almost running out on time.
Well, I was gonna say, what's the wave? We could touch upon our music really quick.
Okay, let's do that.
Since the whole quarantine thing, oh my god,
Mr. Pumpernickel, how are you?
Sounded like a different one. That one had less bass in his voice,
right?
Since quarantine has happened, actually right before quarantine happened, we laid down vocals for the song Muse that we just released. And it was
how that song came out.
Love how it came out. So to give everybody a quick update, Muse, we dropped it several weeks ago. We haven't really been pushing it too much because we don't want to take attention from everything that's going on right now. So I've been sprinkling it here and there on my personal page, on the Benatton page. So
did I ever tell you the backstory of Muse, of how I started writing that song?
No. But can I...
Yes,
do the breakdown. I'll do my breakdown real quick. So the gentleman, Cinco Sound, producer from Canada, that we just found out is in Ecuador. Correct?
Yes, he moved from Canada to Ecuador.
So he actually produced Fallen. We found him on YouTube, actually.
Yeah.
So we did Fallen. We love how it came out. So we kept on going through his catalog, and we stumbled across the beat for Muse.
Yep.
And we thought it would be a good follow-up for Fallen, even though we released Desire in between there, right?
Yeah.
We just love the vibe of it. It's really dope. Like, the best way to explain it is like a really groovy sound. You know what I mean?
It's like an
late
80s retro mixed with house.
Right. So we love how it came out. So we got the beat from him. He gave us the stems. We recorded our vocals, and then all shit went crazy. So for several weeks we weren't like really working on anything. We weren't really talking about anything other than what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So we didn't see each other physically for a while. So I actually picked up one of the mics and took it back home. I had my own little
It was
setup.
like a month and some change.
Yeah. So I took the mic home, since we have several mics at the studio. I took the laptop with me and set up my own little studio space, since the studio space is actually here.
With the Al Qaeda background.
My Al Qaeda blanket in the background. But you know, so what we were listening to it, we were vibing with it, and shout out to LX who put down a dope mix the first time around. We loved how the mix came out, and the only thing that we had qualms with was delivery issues. So thankfully I had the mic at home. You have yours set up here, and we were able to re-record our vocals, ship them off to LX. Shout out to LX once again, who put on a dope mix to it, and that's how Muse was born.
Isn't it funny how like some of our best songs have always been
where pieces from different places
yeah,
are
it's
coming
like it's
together,
been like
right?
a distance collage.
It's so dope. That's what I love about technology. There's this group, I would have to get the name. Is these three guys. Actually, the group Foreign Exchange.
Yes.
You know Foreign Exchange?
I love Foreign Exchange.
The producer and the main artist who came together, they actually recorded, I'm pretty sure it was them, they recorded a whole first album without even actually meeting in person.
Whoa.
And this was several years ago too. This is before we had like all this crazy technology and shit. But we actually recorded Elevated like that. You were in France, I was here. No, it was Cruise Control or Elevated?
It was
both,
Cruise
actually.
Control and Elevated.
Yeah,
we recorded both songs in the summer.
Yeah, so you were in France, I was here in Jersey. There was a vocalist on Cruise Control, Taj. She was in Central Jersey. So it was dope how that came together. So it was very similar when it came to this. And I also want to shout out Chanel
from Ottawa.
Very, very, very dope visual artist, I guess you would call it. A visual artist, I guess a graphic painter. I would like to say
digital paintress.
I like that. So she's a digital paintress from Ottawa, Canada. She's been super dope. She's been following us for a minute, and we reached out to her to work on the album the artwork for the single, and it came out beautiful. We literally told her like, listen, we trust you. This is the idea we kind of had. And I was like, here, I'll send you the song in advance. You listen to it and you go off that vibe. And I think she knocked it out the park.
No, definitely did.
So, so that's Muse. It's out on all music streaming platforms. Shout out to Orchard for pushing the song.
Yes.
I thought
during COVID.
I didn't think they were going to, but it's on all social media, music streaming services. So, give us a listen, put us on your playlist. Make sure you tell your friend to tell a friend. Any stream counts, you know. Streaming numbers have been way down since the outbreak has happened. So, any play.
But I can't wait to get
awesome.
Things back in motion for us.
Yeah, man. So you want to break down what you were talking about?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say for Muse, when I started writing it.
I guess you could talk about your verse and then I'll talk about my verse.
Yeah, I had a one night stand in the past. With another artist lady that I know of. And that inspired the Muse lyrics throughout my verse. Into the hook. And I thought, since
I'm
we're both
listen
artists,
to this differently.
Yeah, you gotta listen to it differently. I let that person know that I wrote that song about that one specific time. And
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was a dope vibe.
Is it who I think it is?
It might be. You're gonna find out who I wrote it about, and you're gonna also go find out who this racist is that keeps getting hired by
I like it.
all the black homies.
Racist and then a one night stand. It's not the same person, is it?
No, that'd be weird.
I'm just molding these two people together right now.
It's been interesting, and Jay and I, we also discussed, like, I have a couple songs that I might want to put out, in the future that I've written about, like, personal things. It's just like a vent series. Mm-hmm. So we got so many, like, things in the works. It's gonna be super, super dope. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be fun. Like
you mentioned earlier, we sat down for maybe 3 hours and literally in a notepad wrote down ideas, because I feel like sometimes we get caught up in
piece
our phones.
Piece
and
by
literally
piece.
Lyric by lyric, piece by piece, we mapped out, basically. That's the best way to explain it. We mapped out how we're going to shoot certain scenes, what scenes we're going to shoot, running through ideas of who's going to be in the scenes. So
be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that way we're more efficient when the day comes, and we're going to shoot it piece by piece, obviously, and then put it together, and hopefully in the next couple months you'll see that. And the idea we had, I don't want to give away too much, but it's going to be maybe a 2-part series.
Yes,
where it may lead into another song,
which is dope.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's been going on with us lately. We were trying to keep up with the podcast, but unfortunately audio quality was not agreeing with us, so we kind of scrapped those. So apologies for anybody that's been waiting for any episodes, but I don't think anybody has been worrying about this.
Quality's back again.
But we're back. Quality's back. Audio is not piercing through your ears. No. And we're going to be working on the video as well. So let me see. So now the gallery. Go ahead. Who are you going to shout out?
I was going to say there's a dope artist, photographer. His name is Johnny Cinematic, literally spelled the way you hear it. He is a really dope photographer, and he's also been an advocate for a lot of the changes and protests for the Black Lives Matter movement, keeping people updated on what's going on. Mm-hmm. And just while I've been in quarantine, I came across so many dope songs, but one off the jump that I've really been enjoying is...
Wait, he's a photographer? He's a photographer?
Yeah, he's a photographer.
But he does music.
No, he's a photographer, but I'm saying he's just keeping people updated on like what's going on, like with like Black Lives Matter. Okay. I think he's just like, one, he's a dope artist, and that's why I respected him in the beginning. But he's also been showing a lot of love.
Gotcha.
Like, he's another white guy too. Like, I think he's just really cool guy in general, and he's really about it. And I came across a song by an artist called Gallant, Gallant, and the song's called Panasonic. I think it's a crazy dope vibe that I've listened to a couple times. There's so many other more, but that's where I'm going to put it at for my 2 artists.
So Gallant.
Song is called Panasonic.
Okay.
And Johnny Cinematic on IG.
Oh my God, I almost call him Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sins.
That's a porn star.
Oh, well, yeah. You might find something different.
Johnny Cinematic. So I just want to... I guess I already gave her a shout out before, but I want to shout out our Ottawa paintress.
Yeah, send her some work. If you're an artist, you need some artwork.
Yeah, she does commission work. So any artists out there or anybody that wants to get a portrait for any one of your friends, she does these really cool paintings, I believe on her iPad. And she just makes really dope work. She's really dope. She's a dope person outside of being a dope artist. So, I just wanted to shout her out real quick. I know we've done this several times, but the work that she does for us and the support she gives us is overwhelming. And
beautiful girl, beautiful soul, beautiful artwork.
I just want to pay it forward. So even if it's a little shout out, hopefully you get a follower or 2 out of this. She does commission work, so hit her up for business inquiries. And a song I want to shout out is actually, I discovered this artist on TikTok actually, and I found his Instagram page. His name is Sam Ryder. Yes.
R-I-D-E-R?
R-Y-D-E-R.
Okay.
So Sam Ryder, but his name on Instagram is Sam Hair Wolf Rider.
Okay.
So I'll put the name here so you guys can double check on that if you're watching the YouTube. But my man's looks like Jesus, Thor, and has a voice of a fucking god.
Sounds like my brother.
I'm gonna play something real quick. I've posted him on my IG before, so you've probably seen him before. So Let me see if I could find one that I really liked. But this dude's voice is incredible.
Nice.
Like I stalked his page for like 2 or 3 days.
That.
Let me see if I could find a good one. Okay. This is what he looks like.
You weren't lying.
Look at that beard.
Damn. He sounds how he looks.
Right? Sounds like Jesus mixed with Fergie.
I give him a lot more credit.
This is more. This dude can belt. Dude, his voice control is incredible.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. Wow.
So,
and he's doing it like naturally. Like, you could tell that's his vibe. He's found his artistry.
So give Sam Hare Wolfrider a shout.
Oh,
follow him on social media. He has a song out called Set You Free. I don't want to get flagged for this, so I'm not going to play it.
Okay.
So find Sam Ryder, Ryder, Spotify or whatever you listen to. And the song is called Set You Free. Dope. So that's what I've been listening to quite a bit lately. So, So I guess that's it. It's a wrap.
That's it.
Yeah, we don't want to rush too much. Sorry if this episode felt rushed. We're just trying to get back into the groove of things. We didn't want to talk your ears off. So hopefully we've kept
final last
an hour.
words on my end. Thank you. Shout out Montclair to all the rich people that don't care about quality goods and been throwing them out during COVID. I found a $400 sound bar from Sonos Best Buy, brand new. And I also found a mini fridge last night on Bloomfield Ave, and they're both beautifully functioning. So shout out to everybody.
Shout out to the rich people. Before we go, make sure you go to YouTube. Follow us. Even if you listen on Spotify and Apple Music, at least give us a follow, subscribe, like, leave a comment, turn on the bell notification again, because we don't release videos on anywhere else other than YouTube. Yes. But, when the video comes out, you'll get a notification for either the podcast or music videos. Apple Music, make sure you leave a rating, leave a review, because it makes us look better. Simple. Takes 2 minutes. If that. Spotify, quick follow the Terrible Reception podcast on all platforms. We love you guys. Yes. Once again, I'm Jay Suarez. I don't think I said that earlier today. So my name is Jay Suarez, Jet Plane J on all social media platforms. So we love you guys.
And I'm Parlay of Benatton, and it's been excellent. Terrible Reception Radio. Hope you guys can hear us. We love you. We're with you. And till next time.
Sorry if this was bleak, but we'll be funnier next time.
It's all good. Let's get back into the groove. When with that said, let's hit them with the intro and the outro. Wabam! One.
All right. I'll tell you the truth.
Can you hear it?
We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.